Is Cameron Cook one of these sneaky buys for the college fantasy football season in 2025? We will talk about it right after this. If you like what we are doing here at Campus to Canton, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button so we can get to 5,000 subs by the start of the college football season. We are trying to spread the good word of college fantasy football around the nation, and we appreciate your support and love in doing so. Let's talk about Cameron Cook. Look, through the services, he was a 3 to 4 star, depending on where you look, out of Round Rock, Texas. In my opinion, was a very good running back. He goes to TCU, stays in state, just wasn't able to really make a name for himself there. He enters the transfer portal and ends up going to Jacksonville State, which I think could be a home run for him. Typically, you don't like to see these talented backs take a step down, but from a fantasy perspective, I think this is a home run. Now, when you look at Cameron Cook from an athlete perspective, he doesn't rate out highly. 0.476 athlete, we do have him at 20.9 miles per hour, which is in the 53rd percentile. And that makes sense when you watch him play, right? He doesn't have that home run breakaway speed. But, and in my profile that I wrote up about him, I think he's like a surgeon behind the line, right? He's great vision, great instincts. He knows when to hit the hole, when to burst through. I think he, again, shows great vision and patience behind that as well. And that burst can get him some pretty decent runs. However, again, he lacks that home run speed and sometimes that physicality in his game. Sometimes he can take some defenders down with him, but typically he is not going to. He's listed at 195. I believe the last TCU had him listed, it was about 198. We'd like to see him get over that 200-pound mark. And he is a decent receiver as well. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Again, kind of lacks that home run potential. But maybe that does not matter in where he's going. Moving over to Jacksonville State, obviously Rich Rodriguez moves on from Jacksonville State, and they bring in a new offensive coordinator, though, in Clint Trickett. Now, you may not know that name, but we know that name for what he was able to do for one Marshall running back, Rasheen Ali. Now, Rasheen Ali was a little bit of a better athlete, 0.673, so about a 0.2 something plus difference, but miles per hour, 20.7, 47 percentile. So he even lacked less of that breakaway speed than Cam Cook did, but again, was a really good receiver. In those 2 years when Clint Trickett was the offensive coordinator for Marshall and Rasheen Ali was the main running back, 209.5 yards is what they averaged. When you go and look at what they were able to do in 21 and 22, the average PPR points for running back one, 24.95 and 19.84. Those are the best of Charles Huff, who was the head coach of Marshall at times, best in his entire career with Clint Trickett there. Again, Rasheen Ali was a player that you were picking up off the waiver wires after week one and went on to have that incredible season. In those seasons, their rush rate, 56% of the time in early neutral game script situations and 47% of the time. Their offensive EPA per play, 0.25, 0.08. Very good. The offensive rush success rate, 50%, 45%. And the offensive rush explosiveness, 90.994% and 0.943. All this to say, the running back in this offense, I think, is going to be very good going up against CUSA offenses. This is just not our defenses. These are not defenses that I'm necessarily worried about being able to stop these players. On top of that, what I think makes this even more interesting, but could be a little bit of a negative for Cam Cook, is Gavin Wimsatt, transferred from Kentucky to Jacksonville State as well. We saw last year Trey Huff was the leader in carries on this team, the quarterback, with 278 attempts. I think Gavin Wimsatt can do that and fits very well in there. Trey Stewart was the leader of the running back position, but Tyler have 227. Trey Stewart, he is gone. He's gone to he's out of eligibility. I actually don't know if he went to the NFL, but he is out of eligibility. The next leading rusher is one Andrew Paul, who was a player that we loved years ago from Campus to Canton here in his freshman guide. But he's had multiple knee injuries. I don't think has the explosiveness or is the player you're really looking for to lead a backfield. Now, he does bring a different dynamic than Cameron Cook, right? Andrew Paul is a running back who can bring the power, probably a goal line back. But I think at the end of the day, Gavin Wimsatt mixed in with Cam Cook, sure, maybe Cam Cook won't be bringing you 25 plus points a game like Rasheen Ali was, but I think he can come pretty darn close. And right now, he is a player that I would imagine you can get fairly cheap. I would imagine most people are not paying attention to what he did. In fact, most of them probably don't even have him on their roster anymore after he, for the most part, did nothing with TCU. I mean, again, 119 attempts last year at TCU, 460 yards, a 3.9 average. That is really bad. Right now, he is sitting at 83% roster. That is a lot more than I expected. Holy crap. So you might have to trade for him. He's probably not available in your freshman supplemental drafts, but I think you can get him fairly cheap. And he is a player who I think the upside and the boom is there if you put together Clint Trickett and what he was able to do with Rasheen Ali with, in my opinion, a better overall running back in Cam Cook going to Jacksonville State. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comments. Can Cam Cook be one of the breakout running backs in the 2025 season? Talk to you guys again soon.